Hey everyone, and welcome to my channel, and welcome to my very first video. I'm really excited to be putting this video out there and starting this channel because this is going to be a channel where we talk about sex and talk about those topics relating to sex, sexual health, because I think there needs to be a safe place where we can go and talk about it, because I know a lot of times it's uncomfortable, and so we're going to be doing our makeup together and talking about sex at the same time. Today's video is going to be about periods because it's something that is an easier topic to talk about, and I wanted to start off with something that we can gradually build on. So like I said, today's video is periods, so let's get started on that. I'll just be doing my makeup while I start talking. I think having something to do while you're talking about these kind of uncomfortable situations, uncomfortable topics, it makes it easier while you're doing something. That's why I chose to have this channel doing makeup while we talk about these topics, because maybe it'll be easier in real life for you at home to maybe talk about those topics with others too. Find something that you can focus your mind on also on the side while talking about those topics. Hopefully that conversation will just be more easy to keep going if you're having something to do. So let's get started with the makeup. I'm going to be using a lot of e.l.f. products because they have a sale. I mean, they always have a sale, and I shop on their clearance section a lot. They usually have deals that are like, you get an eyeliner for 80 cents or a foundation for $2, and sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. So that's what I'm going to be using for my makeup today. My period first started when I was in 5th grade, and so I was around 10 years old. I don't remember the first time I got it, but I definitely remember it being something I struggled with, learning how to, use a pad and, hide, using a pad. I remember in 5th grade too, there was this time when my teacher came up to me and she was like, "Hey Chelsea, do you have your period?" And I'm thinking to myself, oh my gosh, how does she know? Like, did something on me physically change that shows you got your period or something? Like, I didn't really understand. And I told her, well, yeah. And she's like, okay, well, she goes, I think you bled through your pad or whatever. So here's like 10-year-old me, 5th grader, and I had just bled through my pad, and it was so embarrassing. I mean, you're at this period in your life, but you're at this period in your life where people aren't, all at the same stage. We're not all adults. I mean, are we all adults now? No. Some kids have their periods, some don't. Some are really tall, like me. I was really tall growing up. It was like my class, and then me, and then the rest of my class. So being on my period, I mean, just made me even more self-conscious, I think. I think my dad ended up getting called, and so he came and, either brought me a change of pants and underwear or something like that. But he's used to it. I think he's got 2 older daughters, so not the first time he's probably had to deal with this before. And so I just changed my pants or did something like that. I don't quite remember the rest of it, but I just remember being very mortified, and it was just very awkward. And I don't know if anybody saw or if anybody else knew what was going on, if any other girls had their periods. It was something that we didn't really talk about anyway, so like as girls, like that wasn't a topic that came up, was, are you on your period? I don't remember that happening at all. I think it happened later in like middle school. Periods aren't fun. Mine especially is painful. It used to be a lot worse, but in more recent years, in the last 5 years or so, it's kind of lightened up a little bit. On the first day is when it's the worst. It's usually really bad cramps, really bad back pain, and I just get really emotional too, especially in the days leading up to it. I'll start crying at, I don't know, a raindrop on a flower. So yeah, I get really emotional. Sometimes I forget that, oh, my period's coming up, so I have no idea why I'm crying, because I usually don't cry at a lot of things, but when my period's around, it's a different story. So sometimes I'll forget, and then I'll remember, oh yeah, my period's coming, it's fine. But when I have my period, I make sure I have, Midol on me, a heat pad, and any other things that really, bring me comfort and joy during those times, just because it's so hard to function on that first or second day. I do everything I can to make sure that I am good for the rest of the day or 2. And then mine usually lasts about 5 days or so. It's been really consistent. It didn't used to be consistent at all in high school. It used to be It could last anywhere from 5 to 7 days. It was really bad the first 2 days where I would miss work, I would miss school, activities, stuff like that because they hurt so bad. Now they don't hurt that bad. There are some months where it really kills and I feel like I can't go out and do anything. But, you know, you have to make it to work. You usually have those period clothes too. It just fits better when you're on your period and doesn't show, you know, how bloated you are or whatever. At least that's what I have. Obviously, I think everybody's period is different and they handle it differently. It feels different for everybody. It's longer, it's shorter, it's more painful, it's not heavier flow, lighter flow, whatever it may be. I just felt terrible all the time and I wanted something to fix it. And actually what helped, and I didn't do this until I was a sophomore in college, I think. I went to the doctor, and the doctor said, they told me, why don't you try birth control? And I hadn't heard that before, that birth control was supposed to lighten periods and make them more regular, but I guess it does. So we tried that out. I went on birth control, I went on the pill for about a year or so. It kept my period on time. It kept happening the same time every month, you know, like the 20 days or 28 days in between the cycles, and it kept it a 5-day cycle. It was a lot lighter too, where I could actually go to work and I didn't have to worry about the pain and, you know, everything like that in those first couple of days. So I was really thankful when my doctor told me that, and that kind of changed, and ever since I've been off it, it's been regular too. I've never had another time where, you know, it's hurt that bad as it used to back in high school. And I'm very grateful for that. And what also helps, my fiance is really good about it too. He knows, you know, right when I'm getting my period that, you know, I might be a little more emotional. I didn't used to think that that was even a thing. I don't know if I just didn't notice it in high school or what, but I didn't think I ever got it. You know, I didn't think I ever got extra emotional during that time. And like I said before, now I cry like instantly about anything even slightly cute or emotional. And so now I definitely know that's a thing. Other than the emotional roller coaster that periods put you on, I think another big thing that we have a lot of trouble deciding is, you know, a tampon or a pad, like which is best. And it really depends, I think, on everybody. Like when I first got my period, you know, back in 5th grade, I definitely used a pad. I was scared of tampons. I didn't know how they worked. I mean, they showed you in school. I definitely remember like a sex ed teacher or a nurse coming into our class and being like, okay, we're going to show you how periods work and how to use tampons and pads. And I think they put the, you know, they took the tampon out of the plastic applicator and then put it in water to show you how big it can expand. And I think that's pretty frightening when you're a 5th grader and learning about this stuff for the first time. You're like, that goes inside me? Like, how does that even work? So I remember being very scared of tampons, didn't want to go near them, so I used pads instead. I bled through them a couple times, like that time in 5th grade, and then I actually bled through it again in high school. So I thought I had my shit figured out. Turns out I did not. I definitely bled through it, and my teacher, you know, said the same thing, like, hey Chelsea, are you on your period? Because it looks like you bled through your pad. And it was on the chair, and I had one of those crossbody bags in high school, so I just like flipped it around and covered up my butt and like hoped nobody saw it. I remember my mom too, she came and she, I think, did the same thing that my dad did in 5th grade. She came and gave me a new pair of pants and underwear or something like that, or maybe took me home for the day. So I think after that incident too, it really made me want to use tampons. And this might be a little TMI, but where are we kidding? This whole channel is going to be a TMI. But I couldn't start using tampons until I was a sophomore in high school. So I don't know if I just didn't know how it worked up there. I didn't know maybe where my vagina was or how to stick anything up there. But when I had sex for the first time, I'm like, I can do this. It sounds really crazy. It sounds really weird. But ever since then, I've been using tampons. Tampons just work better for me because they're not as uncomfortable as pads. You don't have to worry about them. You don't have to change them out as frequently. There's not really like an odor with them. I always felt with pads, I always got like a weird odor from them just because it's all sitting right there and you can't really control it. So I definitely started using tampons as a sophomore and have been ever since. They just seem to work better for me. And sorry, I can't concentrate because this is a lot bronzer right here, right here. Don't know what I did. Ooh. But yeah, so tampons work for me. I really love them. They allow you to be more free, I guess. It's a lot more free than having this pad sitting there and you feel like you can't wear certain underwear, certain clothes because it shows, or you just, you know, get that weird and comfortable feeling. So tampons is where it's at for me. So do whatever makes you feel comfortable, I think, and the most secure and, you know, worry-free. But I do feel really grateful that we do have access to, you know, pads and tampons and all those supplies that help us out, because I know in some parts of the world people do not, and I feel really grateful that I do have access to that. So I try to keep that in mind every time I have my period, and even though it hurts like hell and, you know, I try to get through it, that I'm so lucky to be able to have things that help me out during those few days. Another topic that comes up around periods is period sex, and I know it's really kind of gross if you think about it. Like, there's blood down there and that's all happening, and nobody kind of really wants to touch that, but it can actually I think help you when you're on your period. It just really depends on you and your partner, you know, whoever you're with. Is that something that you're comfortable with? Is it something that they're comfortable with? And I think if you are wanting to try period sex, you definitely should. You never know until you try it. Never knock it till you try it. So maybe just have an open conversation with them and see how they feel about it. And if you do, just, you know, take it slow. I know the first time we tried period sex, we had to have like, we almost had to get like a tarp or something. Like, we were that nervous. But I think we just put a towel down and it was fine. Like, nothing came out like onto the blanket. It's not like blood is gushing out of you, you know. So obviously I wouldn't try to like on the first day, just because I think it'd be a lot messier. But maybe like on third, fourth, or fifth day or longer if you have it longer. Whatever works for you. I think you should try it out, because when you're on your period, you're usually a little more sexually aggressive. You're a little more horny. So having sex during your period actually kind of takes care of that need. I've always felt that it's not really that big of a deal. Like, once you do it a couple times and you and your partner get to be comfortable with it, you know what works, you know what doesn't work. Maybe don't try every position that you've tried before, but I think it's definitely something to look into. So for all those of you that are wondering about it, just go ahead and try it. Just make sure that you and your partner have talked about it before, though. My eyebrows today are they're just being little peaches. They're just being great. Like, what is that? When I'm on my period too, other than all the products that help me out, like tampons and Midol and a heat pad and the support of my fiance, all of those help a great deal. But the one thing that I really, really love on my period and need is junk food. I'm trying to eat healthier, but when I'm on my period, anything goes, especially just that first day. The rest of the days are fine, but that first day is when I need my junk food. So I turn to like corn chips or something salty, and then I need ice cream, like cookie dough is great, and then I need, you know, a chocolate of some sort, like a candy. But that first day on my period is where I just eat whatever I want and don't care about it. And I usually can't work out because those cramps are no joke. I know if I worked out more regularly, I know it probably wouldn't hurt as bad. I've heard that working out and keeping active will lighten periods, or at least help, you know, with the symptoms like cramps and bloating, and I mean, just working out in general helps everything. But that's just another reason we should all be, you know, taking care of our bodies and stuff, because it helps your period out. Woo! So yeah, that's how I deal with my period. I really want to know too how all of you deal with yours, or, you know, if you have extra special tips, like you do a certain like yoga move or something like that, because I always want to know what I should be doing to make my period just a little bit better, because it really sucks. And, you know, the timing of it couldn't be worse too. I feel like periods always come on like a really bad time. Like, it's something special, like you're graduating, or you're going on a date, or you're going to a pool party, and all of a sudden your little monthly visitor is there and it ruins it. And, you know, it's been hard sometimes, because I think I've dealt with in the past. I can't remember a certain situation where it's come up like that, but I feel like it always comes up at the worst time. And I'm getting married this October, and the way my period is coming around right now feels like it's going to match up right with my wedding, which is great because it's not like you're already emotional around your wedding and then adding period emotions on top of it. It's just going to be great. You know what? If it comes, it comes. It's fine. I'm going on my honeymoon for 2 weeks right after that, so if I get my period done during the wedding, that's fine, and then I don't have to deal with it for the honeymoon. What I'm hoping right now is that I just get my period after the wedding, like, or right before, like if it ends like right before the wedding, that would be great. I can manage that. But the way it's coming right now, no, I don't think it's gonna work out. And then it's gonna come right when I don't need it to. So I always do highlighter last when I'm doing my makeup. I don't know why. I guess I don't always do it last, but it just adds that nice glowy touch at the last moment and kind of completes the look. Ooh. I think with periods to keep in mind is that they're not fun, they're not great, but it's natural. It's a part of life. It's meant to, you know, give more life. So I think they're really beautiful in a way and really disgusting in others, and it seems like it's the worst time of my life when they're happening, but I know in the future, once I'm trying to have a family, I'll be thankful for my period. Another thing from e.l.f. that I've been trying out too is this lip balm tint. I just don't know, I've layered it on a few things. So we're gonna try it out when it's just by itself, because it just kind of adds a little color. Not that I'm going for a super natural look, but I'm going for a lot lighter look than it could be. See, it just gives you like a little bit of color, not a lot. It just makes it seem like something's going on there at least. That's about it. So thank you so much for joining me today at my first video. Like I said, I'm really excited to get this channel going and continue to talk about topics like this. So if you have any topics too, put those below. I want to know what you're interested in. I have a few in mind, but I would love to know what you guys want to talk about, because that's what this is. This is a kicking off point, and then maybe even you can take these conversations into your life, talk about them with your friends, your family, and we can make the topic of sex and sexual health something a little more easier to talk about, because it's an important topic, and I think it just gets skipped over because it's kind of uncomfortable at times, for sure. Thank you all you beautiful people out there for watching my very first video. I hope to continue these, so I will see you in the next video when we talk about our next sex topic.